Hello, everyone. How are we doing today? Happy Monday to you. I guess, I'm going to say happy Monday. I don't know how many people had a happy Monday. It really depends on how your sports teams did now, doesn't it? Beautiful thing about Monday is we get to talk about everything that happens. Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, even anything that broke today, Monday afternoon. Here on the Scoreboard, we're going to be talking sports for the next, let's call it 52 minutes. 52 minutes, right around there. We'll be taking your calls, 844-STUDIO-4. That's 844-788-3464. That's, if you have something you want to chat about, something on your mind, anything from the weekend that you'd like to talk about, I'm here for you. We'll be on air, right up until that 6 o'clock hour tonight. It is a interesting Monday for sure. I don't know what to think about the weekend that we had. Now, we had upsets. We had good football. We had bad football. We had a race on Saturday that was, okay. It was decent. We had a race on Sunday that was a mixed bag. I don't know what to think about it. And we had high school football on Friday night. We have a lot of other high school sports going on that, we'll keep you updated on what's going on. But the thing that was big over the weekend was high school sports. There were some teams, not only in our area, but around the state that have had some really good seasons so far. Even a few that are ranked in the top 100 schools in North Carolina competing this last weekend. So why don't we go ahead and start our conversation there with some of the schools that were playing football on Friday, starting with the school that we've been covering ever since the program started. That is Statesville High School. They had that one hiccup against North Lincoln a couple of weeks ago, back in September. Ever since then, though, they've been good. Now, they've only had 2 games since then, but still good since that loss. They won 34-21 the previous weekend against East Lincoln. And then on Friday, a win on the road, 21-0, a shutout win. Man, shutout wins have to feel good, especially when you're on the road and you do the shutout. I don't know what would be more fun, to be honest with you, is getting shut out at home or getting a shutout on the road. Actually, I do know which one sounds more fun. Getting the shutout on the road is, man, there's nothing like quieting the home crowd. So Statesville High School, 5-1 currently on the year. They sit 3rd place in the 3A Western Foothills. Now, we've talked about that division, that conference, quite extensively over the past year and a half or so. This is a tough one because Statesville has a really good record. They have the 2nd best record in the conference at 5-1. Only Hickory is better at 6-0, but they do have that loss on their record to a conference opponent, which it's tough when that happens because now they're they are tied for 3rd with North Lincoln as well, who only has 1 loss and a win. But North Iredell in front of them has not lost a game in the conference yet. That kind of foreshadows a little bit of what we were going to talk about with North Iredell High School. Now, they were not in action this previous weekend. They picked things back up on today, actually. Now, remember, this is one that got moved from the Hurricanes. So, on the road against North Lincoln, that's a 7:30 start time today. So keep that in mind. Then on Friday, North Iredell heads back home to take on Hickory High School, who has been undefeated in the conference for the past few years. Actually, not only this year, but they've been doing really good over the past few years. So North Iredell 2-0 in the conference. Their conference opponents so far have been Ford High School and St. Stephen's. They win both of those games. Now they play North Lincoln on the road, and then they get Hickory at home. Those are going to be some tough games right there. But you got 2 wins in the conference now. Stay sharp, and they'll be all right moving forward. Another school that we're actually going to be talking to not far from now, we're going to hear from head coach and some players, is South Iredell High School. They were in action over the weekend on the road against Hickory Ridge. They go out and they steal a victory there. They not really steal a victory, but a one possession game. They won a nail biter there. 32-27, the final score in that game. South Iredell taking the lead in the fourth quarter of that one to get the win. They also scored 23 in the second, which is some quarter right there. So South Iredell gets up to 4-2 on the year, undefeated in their conference, which is the 4A Greater Metro Football Conference. They have some big opponents in this one, including Mooresville and Lake Norman. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about Lake Norman as well. 4-2 now on the year as they lost their most recent game against West Cabarrus on the road, 23-16. Keep in mind, that is a conference game. So a big loss there for Lake Norman High School. That drops them to 1-1 in the conference, 5th. Now, they have one less conference games than others as of right now, but Mooresville is 2-0. South Iredell is 2-0. You have West Cabarrus at 2-1. A.L. Brown at 2-1. And then it's Lake Norman at 1-1. Hickory Ridge and Cox Mill High School still looking for the first win of the season in their division. Not only that, but Hickory Ridge and Cox Mill have not won a football game yet this year. Tough seasons for those two schools, but maybe they'll turn it around at the end of the year here. Mooresville High School football, 5-0. They keep rolling on. They went down to Providence on Friday night and got the 18-6 victory that moves them to an impressive 5-1 this year, 2-0 in the conference. We talked about them at the beginning of the year with Langston Wirtz as a team to watch in the 4A conference. In 4A football in general, they've been getting bounced the past few years, not making it past round 2. But Mooresville High School, they got a good school, a good team this year. I would love to see them go far. It would be fun. Anybody in the area, really, who has a good year, I'd love to see them go far. Now, last, we want to talk about West Iredell High School. Make sure we give the love everywhere here. West Iredell, so far this year, 2-3. They lost their most recent game, 41-10. Unfortunate result there. But they're back in action coming up here on Friday. Have a chance to turn it around. They're at home. They'll be taking on Statesville High School. That's going to be a big game right there. So don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We got to get to a commercial break. When we return, we have a lot to talk about. Baseball from the weekend. Baseball going on now. We also have NASCAR to talk about. College football. We did high school football. We got to get to the pro football aspect of things from the weekend. Strap in. We got a long show ahead of us. Don't go anywhere. We're back after this.
More of Sports Director Joe Berg's The Scoreboard is coming up on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
I'll tell you what, just a beautiful week of weather coming up, and fall air is knocking on the door, too. Plenty of sunshine today as temperatures climb into the low 80s. We'll fall back tonight into the low 50s by the time you wake up on Tuesday morning, and much cooler and a lot less humid. Dry, crisp fall air is locking in. We're in the low to mid 70s for Tuesday, even dropping into the upper 40s for a couple of mornings middle of the week. That's your forecast. From the WSIC Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
The app with Lake Norman deals. The WSIC app is out now, wherever you get your apps.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. Brookdale Village in Huntersville presents their free concert series Live Under the Oaks on Friday. The Village is open all day for shopping and dining with Rocky Lynn taking the stage at 6 p.m. Bring your chairs and enjoy on-site beverages from Red Rocks. Live Under the Oaks with Rocky Lynn kicks off at 6 p.m. Friday in Brookdale Village. Old Town Cornelius is alive again with October's Second Friday Street Festival. Join friends and neighbors on October 11th from 5 to 9 p.m. at the Oak Street Mill in Cornelius for the Second Friday Street Festival season finale. Live music, an all-star lineup of breweries, delicious food trucks, sweet treats, a kids zone, petting zoo, vendors, and giveaways highlight a night of fun for the entire family. We'll see you in Old Town Cornelius for the Second Friday Street Festival. NASCAR returns to Charlotte Motor Speedway for their annual fall weekend in October on the Roval. The Xfinity Series holds the Drive for the Cure 250 on Saturday. The Cup Series competes in the Bank of America Roval 400 on Sunday. Weekend ticket packages as well as daily tickets are available. Also, check out deals for military service members, college students, suites, the Champions Pavilion, the Indoor Clubhouse, Terrace Box, 4-packs, and more. Don't miss any of the entertainment, including Eli Young Band and Tim Duggar concerts before NASCAR's National Series step closer to their championships. Visit CharlotteMotorspeedway.com for information, tickets, and details. To keep up with all the events happening around the community and much more, including amazing local deals, download the WSIC News app today.
The Renaissance Festival is back, Saturdays and Sundays, now through November 24th. A non-stop outdoor family adventure. Tickets available online only at renfestinfo.com while supplies last.
Your Tuesdays just got a lot better. The Good Soul, a feel-good show that dives into the stories of extraordinary people, is headed to WSIC. Host Patty Alvarez brings a sit-down, fun conversation to the airwaves to give you an early week pick-me-up. Who is this? This is 105.9 100.7.
WSIC. Local starts here.
The Scoreboard with Joe Berg continues now on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Welcome back to the Scoreboard. 844 Studio 4 is the phone number. If you have something on your mind that you'd like to talk about, we're here for you. Got plenty of time left. We're going to talk baseball. We are in the middle of the playoffs. Oh, what a beautiful time of year. Baseball playoffs are alive and well. We have games today. We had games yesterday. We had games all day. It happens. Get used to playoff baseball. It's here to stay for the rest of the month and, into November, because that's what it's been doing recently. An update for you on some of these series, because we do only have 4 remaining. Now, you got to remember, with the expanded playoffs, I don't even know if they're really expanded anymore. They used to be. I don't think they're really expanded anymore, but what we have are 4 series remaining. Cleveland and Detroit sit at 1-0 right now in favor of Cleveland, but there is a game going on right now between the Tigers and the Guardians, Detroit and Cleveland. Right now, they're in the top of the 5th inning, and the Guardians don't have a hit yet. Something to keep an eye on. Still 0-0, though, as we have 2 outs there in the top of the 5th inning. I will keep you updated on that as we go through the program, because we do have a live game going on. I will let you know what's happening in that area because, well, we got to keep you updated on a live game. We love when that happens here on the Scoreboard. Get to give you updates as they happen. Kansas City has fallen a game down to the New York Yankees, 1-0 in that series, but we do have game 2 coming up later tonight, 7:38. God, I love baseball start times. They're my favorite. What an obscure time for that thing to start. 7:38 on the dot, not a minute earlier, not a minute later. 7:38. First pitch from Yankee Stadium in that one. It'll be on TBS. TBS is who will be covering that game. Now, as we go over to the National League, the Mets and the Phillies are tied at a game apiece. You saw it last night if you were watching baseball, the thriller between the Mets and the Phillies. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. And the final series, another great one, I mean, I don't know if there's any bad series right now in baseball. You have the San Diego Padres tied 1-1 with the LA Dodgers. Let's talk about last night, shall we? Because, man, what a game it was between the Phillies and the Mets. Mets jump out to the early lead. Now, this isn't the Mets that we had seen all playoffs up to this point. We had been seeing the Mets do this weird thing. And yeah, I'm going to call it weird, where they only play baseball for like an inning. In game one, they scored 5 runs in the 8th. They did get an insurance marker in the 9th, but they only had their offense in the 5th. Back to the wild card. 2 games that they won. Only 1 inning in each of them where they did well. The doubleheader leading into the playoffs. They scored 1 inning of 18, and they get into the playoffs. Well, yesterday, that's not what the Mets did. They scored throughout the game, even putting up 2 runs in the 9th inning on a home run that gave the Mets the lead late. Phillies scored 3 to tie, and then later in the game, they score 3 to take the lead. Top of the 9th, Mets put in 2, and then Nick Castellanos plays game 2 hero as he hits a walk-off. I don't know if they classified it as a single or a double. It was in the corner. It probably would have been a double, but you know how it is when that happens on a walk-off where you have the guy who's at bat hit it into the gap. Guy on second scores, but the guy who hit it isn't really running. He gets to first base, and then he's already celebrating. I'm going to assume they rule it a single for Castellanos, but he is the the hero, I should say, anyway, in that one. Getting the RBI in the 9th inning to give the win to the Phillies and tie the series at 1. We do have a rest day in that series, but they'll be back at it tomorrow from New York. Keep that in mind. The next game will be from New York with the Mets and Phillies tied at a game apiece. The night game on Sunday was just as good. Maybe not as entertaining and back and forth. It was early, but then, man, San Diego scoring 6 in the final 2 innings to take the 10-2 victory. Man, that was a beating. And all I have to say is if you're a fan of the Dodgers, maybe you should lay low. Lay low for a day or 2. Nobody's happy with you. Baseball fans are not happy with Dodger fans right now. If you watched what happened on Sunday night, last night, between the Dodgers and the Padres, you know what I'm talking about. The game had to be stopped for an extended amount of time because Dodger fans were throwing garbage onto the field. Oh, goody. Gotta love that. They should. I don't know how you enforce something like this or how you even implement it, but if you throw something onto a field at a player, you should never be allowed back. Plain and simple. Same if you think it's a good idea to hop on the field and run across it. You're never going to come back. Sorry, bud. I've heard of people getting banned from a stadium, but like, how do you enforce that? Is it even possible? I don't know. Padres even the series with the Dodgers 1 game apiece. Now today, like I said, we have the Tigers and the Guardians dueling it out for game number 2. Tigers, one of the hottest teams in baseball coming into the playoffs, but in this divisional series, they have now gone 14 innings without scoring a run. They got shut out in game 1, only getting 4 hits, and today they already have that 4-hit total here in the 5th inning, but they still aren't able to produce any runs or really do anything on the bases. So maybe Detroit can turn it around soon, but Cleveland looking to take a stranglehold on this series. It would give them the 2-0 lead. And then later tonight, like I said, Kansas City Royals, New York Yankees. If you saw the game on Saturday, you were treated to a really good baseball game. Kansas City jumps out to the lead. Then the Yankees take the lead back. Then Kansas City takes the lead back. Then the Yankees take the lead back. Then Kansas City takes the lead. I mean, it was as back and forth a baseball game as I have ever seen. Here is the breakdown of it, in case you don't believe me. The Royals scored a run in the top of the second. The Yankees scored 2 in the bottom of the third to make it 2-1. Then in the top of the fourth, the Royals scored 2 to make it 3-2. Then in the bottom of the fifth, the Yankees scored 2, made it 4-3. Top of the sixth, yeah, you guessed it, the Royals scored 2 runs, making it 5-4. In the bottom of the sixth, the Yankees tie the game, and then in the bottom of the seventh, they take the 6-5 lead. That was all that was needed in that game. Nobody scored after that, and the Yankees took a 1-0 series lead. That's playoff baseball right there. That is what we want. We want movement. We want runs coming across. None of this 1-0 baseball game stuff. No 2 hitters in the playoffs. Who cares? We want offense. Now, you can't always have that. You have duds in the postseason where the offense just isn't working. And look no further than today's game between the Guardians and the Tigers. We're almost done with the 5th inning in that one, and there's still yet to be a run come across the board. So, take the good with the bad, you know? 7:38, Royals, Yankees. Watch that one live on TBS. Carlos Rodon on the mound for the Yankees, and Cole Ragans on the mound for Kansas City. I think it's been a pretty good playoff so far, honestly. Not too much. There was, game 1 between the Mets and the Phillies was a little like, what's going on here? Look at all these missed calls. Like, it's insane. The umpire was missing every call. But other than that, you had Juxton Profar with the robbed home run last night, where he was as dramatic about it as he could be, where he goes up, snags it out of the fans' hands, basically, and then just starts nodding at him and jawing with them before revealing the fact that he actually has the ball in his glove. I believe Betts was like rounding second base when he finally figured out that he was actually out. There's been some pretty good moments in the baseball playoffs so far, but 2 games today, one of them going on right now. As, by the way, bottom of the 5th, Guardians have gotten their first hit of the ball game, but now another runner on the bag after a walk. First and second, 1 out in the bottom of the 5th for the Guardians. No series yet at 2-0. The first 2 that had a game 2 go to 1-1. The American League games tonight, we'll see. Maybe the Yankees take a 2-0 lead. Maybe the Guardians are able to capitalize with this rally they have going on in the bottom of the 5th. We will keep you updated on that one, and as always, we'll tell you more about the baseball season as it progresses. What we do have to do now is go to a commercial break. When we return, we'll get into football. Yeah. What kind of football? Well, we'll do college and the NFL. Squeeze them into one segment because we still have to talk about Talladega. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We're back after this.
This guy knows his sports, right? There's more of the Scoreboard with Joe Berg on the way on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
I'll tell you what, just a beautiful week of weather coming up, and fall air is knocking on the door too. Plenty of sunshine today as temperatures climb into the low 80s. We'll fall back tonight into the low 50s by the time you wake up on Tuesday morning, and much cooler and a lot less humid. Dry, crisp fall air is locking in. We're in the low to mid 70s for Tuesday, even dropping into the upper 40s for a couple of mornings middle of the week. That's your forecast. From the WSIC Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Drum Landscape Supply is the go-to spot for anything you need for your yard. Transform your landscaping. Drum Landscape Supply has trees, flowers, natural stone, custom blended grass seed, mulch, and more. Plus, they deliver. DrumLandscapeSupply.com.
Bob McIntosh here with the McIntosh Law Firm in Davidson. Serving this community has been a collective passion of our law firm since 1997. We offer the quality legal services and results you would expect from a large downtown firm, but with a personal, community-focused approach right here at home. The McIntosh Law Firm, your local legal resource.
To learn more about the McIntosh Law Firm, visit McIntoshLawFirm.com.
Attention, fellow conservative investors. What does the name Reagan mean to you? It stands for being the ultimate conservative. It also stands for the Reagan Gold Group. Do you see storm clouds approaching? The stock market hates uncertainty, and there are plenty of reasons to be concerned. High inflation, unstable debt, and economic uncertainty are just a few. You have car insurance, homeowners insurance, and life insurance. But do you have insurance for your retirement savings and your 401k? We urge all fellow conservative investors to learn about the one asset that could help ensure your nest egg doesn't crack under economic pressure. G-O-L-D, gold. Call the one name any conservative investor needs to know about. Reagan Gold Group.
800-296-1557. 800-296-1557. 800-296-1557. That's 800-296.
Folks, you know Randy Marion Ford Lincoln in Statesville is known for the prices and selection, but I tell you what, you may not have known the distinction that this store received with Ford and Lincoln this year. We received the President's Award for 2023 for Ford for the 5th year in a row. We also received it for Lincoln for the first year, and I tell you, those awards don't come easily. It all boils down to taking care of the customers and having the vehicles you want in stock for you to buy.
Have you taken the Desco Challenge? Desco is where the professional goes for electrical supplies.
My name is Ashley. I just redid the lighting in my home, and the customer experience at Desco was second to none.
See for yourself at DescoInc.com.
I'm Bryce Johnson with this Unpacking It Sports and Faith Minute. Being a running back in football requires vision and patience. Players must wait for their linemen to open a hole and then follow the path created all the way to the end zone. In our own lives, we often attempt to execute our own plans. But when we wait for the openings that God creates and we follow the design path He has for us, we experience victory in our lives. In order for us to execute in life, we have to see where to run. As Proverbs 3, 5, and 6 tells us, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways, submit to Him, and He will make your paths straight. We must have faith that God knows what's best and boldness to go for it once we see where we need to go. Today, let's choose to trust God and patiently wait for Him to show us where we should go. I'm Bryce Johnson, and you can unpack that. For more, go to unpackingit.com.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Consumers seem encouraged by what they're seeing in the housing market. Fannie Mae says its home purchase sentiment index is up to its highest level in 2 years, with people feeling good even with rising home prices. Those who say they expect mortgage rates to go down in the next 12 months increased to 42% in September, up from 39% the previous month. A second study has apparently found acne creams and cleansers, including Proactive and Clearasil, contain high levels of benzene, a chemical that can cause cancer. The findings confirm an earlier study that came under criticism for its methods. This latest test of 100 benzoyl peroxide acne products found about a third were contaminated with high levels of benzene. The studies put increased pressure on the FDA to take action. Stocks fell today. The Dow lost 399 or 0.9%. The S&P was down 55, also 0.9. The Nasdaq gave up 214, close to 1.2%. I'm Nancy Lyons, Bloomberg Radio.
Now more of the Scoreboard with Joe Berg on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Scoreboard. 24 more minutes on the program today as we talk about things that happened over the weekend. Detroit was able to get out of that jam, by the way. Guardians had first and second, one out. They come away with nothing. That game now moves on to the top of the sixth inning. I told you when we returned, we would be talking about football and what happened in not only the NFL, which I think is where we are going to start our conversation today, but also college football, as there is always something going on in the world of college football. I mean, especially nowadays with all of the changes, NIL, the playoffs, who's going to be in, out. Big loss for Alabama, number 1 ranked program. Oh, boy. What was that, Alabama? You were number 1. You were the number 1 team in the country. You just beat Georgia. Alabama took a slight fall in the standings. We'll talk about that in a little bit. I do want to start with the NFL. We had some good football going on, and we got to talk about the Carolina Panthers as they lose to the Chicago Bears 36-10. Don't be alarmed. I told you they probably would. I did not expect for Chicago to drop 20 in the second quarter of that game, but, it happens. One thing you got to look at, though, when it comes to this game is how did the Panthers do as a team? Not great. Chuba Hubbard had a good game, almost 100-yard rushing. Andy Dalton, only 136 passing yards, no touchdowns thrown. He did throw an interception. We saw Bryce Young. There was a Bryce Young spotting last night. What? I thought he was done. No, Bryce Young came back. He threw a few passes. It wasn't bad. He threw one where he's scrambling, and I was like, what are you doing? Throw it away, and just laid it in the receiver's arms. I think the bigger story for the Panthers right now is the issues that they are having with injuries. Oh my goodness. What is going on with the Panthers and their injuries? Austin Colbert tore his biceps. He's done for the season. Done. Xavier Legette, hurt. I mean, everybody's hurt. I could go down the list. But the Panthers, man, injured. The defense is Jadeveon Clowney's. I think the biggest loss is the Austin Colbert injury. That's tough, man. Corbett was the center, by the way. If you didn't know, Austin Corbett, the center for the Carolina Panthers. I know a lot of people are, if you're a casual fan, you've probably been saying, oh, Bryce Young's not good because the offensive line isn't good. Well, actually, the offensive line has been significantly better this year. Problem is, now we lost our center, Austin Corbett. That's not good. It was reported earlier today. I just don't know what we can salvage from this year, if anything, at this point. I guess the playoffs were never really something the Panthers were seriously going to contend for, but when you looked at the way that the division has been shaking out early in the year here, and I know it's early, but I continue to harp on the point, and I don't think I've really talked about it all that much this year. It's so much nicer to have a great start to your season and then struggle a little bit in the middle of the year, but you do want to go into the playoffs hot. I know, it's catch-22, right? But look at the Vikings right now. Who had the Minnesota Vikings going 5-0 with Sam Darnold as their quarterback? Is the magic going to run out? Maybe eventually it will. But they've built up this wonderful gap now between them and the rest of the NFL. Look, I wouldn't say it's a lock that they're going to make the playoffs, but man, it's going to be really hard for Minnesota to miss the playoffs at this point. When you look at the season that they have had And the opponents that they beat the 49ers, they beat the Texans, the Packers, the Jets. I mean, these are all teams that people were picking to go to the Super Bowl, especially the Texans, the Niners, and the Jets. Packers, not so much. But they go on a bye week 16 after their trip out to London, and then they play some more tough competition. The Lions, division game right there. The Rams, couple of stinkers with the Colts and the Jaguars, and then the Titans and the Bears and the Cardinals. But, that's what you want. You want to have a great start to the year. Not saying you want to coast through the second half of the year or coast through the middle part of the year, but it takes the pressure off. Look at the Bengals. Look at the flip side of that. The Bengals have not had a good start to their year. Oh, boy. My Super Bowl pick. My team this year, my Cincinnati Bengals. They bungled it. They bungled it. One of these days I'll learn not to pick the teams who have a history of failure. Overtime, you have one of the most accurate young kickers in the league right now, McPherson. And it's a botched snap, bad hold, and the kick goes wide. What happens in overtime? The Ravens go down the field, kick the field goal, they win the game. Ravens move to 3-2. The Bengals fall to 1-4. There were other really good games as well. The Bills and the Texans was a great game. The Cardinals snuck out a win over the 49ers. The 49ers are 2-3. A lot of people picked the 49ers to not only go to the Super Bowl, but win the Super Bowl this year after they weren't able to get it done last year against the Chiefs. But they're 2-3 right now, and a loss to the Cardinals? Ooh, man, that's tough. Packers beat the Rams, and the surprise, maybe not the surprise of the weekend, but a very surprising game here. The New York Giants beating the Seattle Seahawks on the road, 29-20. And they won that game on a blocked field goal, by the way. Seattle was trying to line up the game-tying field goal with only a handful of seconds remaining in the game, and the Giants blocked the kick, and they returned it for a touchdown. There were 2 touchdowns in that game not scored by the offense. The Seahawks had like a 104-yard return. I think it might have been a little less, maybe 102. A fumble recovery on the goal line for the Giants that was taken to the house by the Seahawks. And then at the end of the game, the blocked field goal taken to the house by the Giants. What could we say about last night's game real quick before we head into our commercial break? Man, the Cowboys and the Steelers. That was a late night. But I guess it was worth it. The Cowboys getting the win in the final seconds of the game. You know, I have one thought about this game as I was watching the beginning of it. It looked like a game against 2 but teams. Where it's like, yeah, they're good, but I don't know if they were really Super Bowl contenders just yet. We'll see. One more break. We will talk college football, and then we'll get into NASCAR on the other side of the break. Don't go anywhere. We're back after this.
Keep it right here. We'll have more of the Scoreboard with Joe Berg in just a moment. From 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
I'll tell you what, just a beautiful week of weather coming up, and fall air is knocking on the door, too. Plenty of sunshine today as temperatures climb into the low 80s. We'll fall back tonight into the low 50s by the time you wake up on Tuesday morning, and much cooler and a lot less humid. Dry, crisp fall air is locking in. We're in the low to mid 70s for Tuesday, even dropping into the upper 40s for a couple of mornings middle of the week. That's your forecast. From the WSIC Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. Birkdale Village in Huntersville presents their free concert series Live Under the Oaks on Friday. The Village is open all day for shopping and dining with Rocky Lynn taking the stage at 6 p.m. Bring your chairs and enjoy on-site beverages from Red Rocks. Live Under the Oaks with Rocky Lynn kicks off at 6 p.m. Friday in Birkdale Village. Old Town Cornelius is alive again with October's Second Friday Street Festival. Join friends and neighbors on October 11th from 5 to 9 p.m. at the Oak Street Mill in Cornelius for the Second Friday Street Festival season finale. Live music, an all-star lineup of breweries, delicious food trucks, sweet treats, a kids zone, petting zoo, vendors, and giveaways highlight a night of fun for the entire family. We'll see you in Old Town Cornelius for the Second Friday Street Festival. NASCAR returns to Charlotte Motor Speedway for their annual fall weekend in October on the Roval. The Xfinity Series holds the Drive for the Cure 250 on Saturday. The Cup Series competes in the Bank of America Roval 400 on Sunday. Weekend ticket packages as well as daily tickets are available. Also, check out deals for military service members, college students, suites, the Champions Pavilion, the Indoor Clubhouse, Terrace Box, 4-packs, and more. Don't miss any of the entertainment, including Eli Young Band and Tim Duggar concerts before NASCAR's National Series step closer to their championships. Visit CharlotteMotorspeedway.com for information, tickets, and details. To keep up with all the events happening around the community and much more, including amazing local deals, download the WSIC News app today.
The Renaissance Festival is back Saturdays and Sundays, now through November 24th. A non-stop outdoor family adventure. Tickets available online only at renfestinfo.com while supplies last.
How do you know which vitamins, herbs, or homeopathics are right for you? Come to Lowry Drug. You will be amazed at our selection of natural products, including vitamins, minerals, protein supplements, herbs, homeopathics, essential oils, and Bach flower remedies. We have quality products and smart selection for your better health. Come see us at Lowry Drug on Harkness Road in Statesville. Call 704-873-2247. Come see us.
It's The Scoreboard with your host, Sports Director Joe Berg on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
And welcome back. Final segment here on the Scoreboard. 844 Studio 4 is the phone number. If you have something on your mind that you'd like to take into consideration with talking to me, I'm here for you. Cowboys win on the final seconds. Panthers lose to the Bears. Who won the trade? All that jazz. I mean, is it really a question? Has it been a question? I feel like we've known the answer to who's won the trade for quite some time now. Yeah, it wasn't the Panthers. The Bears got a number 1 overall quarterback out of it who's starting to really look good. I don't know if that's the Panther effect or if he's really starting to figure it out and the game's starting to slow down for him, but Caleb Williams looks good, man. He looks real good. A lot better than Bryce Young did. What? Huh? No, I didn't say that. Calm down. Real quick, in the world of college football, we had a few big games, starting with the big upset. I guess this isn't the big upset, but it was a big upset. Tennessee losing to Arkansas. Yeah, that happened. Tennessee, number 4 at the time, losing to unranked Arkansas. Man, the conference games are going crazy this year. The conference standings are going to look wild. It's all going to be about who is playing for the conference championships. And then, yeah, your ranking is going to matter, but for the most part, the real question is going to be who wins those conference championship games. Tennessee losing after Arkansas scores 9 in the 4th to take a 19-14 win. Tennessee fall to 4-1. I know that wasn't the game you guys thought I was going to start off with. The big one from yesterday, or Saturday, I should say, Alabama lost to Vanderbilt? Huh? Vanderbilt? Going into the game, you're going to love this. Going into that game, Vanderbilt was 2-2, 0-1 in the conference. And Vanderbilt beats Alabama. They beat number one. Fair and square, too. 40-35, a back-and-forth game. Well, Alabama got close, but they never led in this ball game. Vanderbilt had the lead from start to finish in this one. Once they scored that first touchdown to make it 7-0, and then, by the way, an interception that was returned for a touchdown made it 13-0 because the extra point was missed. Alabama did not lead in this game after that. They were trailing the whole time. Vanderbilt continued to push, which is like the biggest thing that you can do if you're an underdog and you have the lead late in the game. Don't settle. Don't slow down. Do not try to milk the clock. Go score. Go score more. And that's exactly what Vanderbilt did in the third and fourth quarter. They were able to score a few more times and get themselves the 40-35 win. Now we look at the rankings after this. Those were the two, I'd say, big upsets of the weekend. Obviously, there were a lot of games that went on. I guess Missouri losing was interesting, but I'm not going to throw that one on the list just now. Yeah. Also, Michigan lost, by the way, in case you didn't know. Michigan lost to Washington. Washington, losing their quarterback, Michael Penix, in the to the draft, actually. They lost him to the draft. So, but Michigan dropping to 21. 24. Here are your rankings. Let's go over them. Number 1, Texas. They moved back up to the number 1 spot. Ohio State 2nd, Oregon 3rd, Penn State 4th, and Georgia 5th. Then you have Miami, who is now 6-0. Is the U back? Is Miami U back? As they scored 21 in the 4th for a comeback win against the California Golden Bears. How are you going to have a comeback win like that against Cal? Come on now. Why'd you need to make that comeback? But the U gets it done against Cal late. They're 6th. Alabama drops to 7th. Tennessee drops to 8th. Ole Miss, Clemson round out your top 10. Tied for 11th are Iowa State and Notre Dame, according to the AP Top 25. Then LSU at 13, BYU at 14. I think everybody knows the deal with what's going on here at BYU. Oh boy, do they have a program over there right now. You know who, before we get back to the rankings, I do want to talk Boise State real quick. Ashton Genty. He is something else to watch. Have we been paying attention to this running back for Boise State? We talked a little bit about it last week, but he's now got 95 carries. He's already got 1,000 yards, 5 games into the season here, and 16 touchdowns. I mean, that's just absurd. He had 13 carries for 186 yards and 3 touchdowns on Saturday against Utah State. I bring that up because Boise State, man, they got some running back over there. They're 4-1 right now. Not in the rankings, but fun to talk about. Anyway, back to the college football rankings. We were at BYU sitting 14th. Texas A&M 15th. Utah 16th. There's Boise State at 17th. Indiana 18th. Oklahoma and Kansas State also tied with Indiana. 21st, Missouri. Pittsburgh, 27th. Illinois, Michigan, and SMU round out the top 25. USC getting a lot of votes as well, just not breaking in. Navy as well. Navy football, don't forget about Navy football, man. They got a good squad this year. They're going to break into the top 25, I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Maybe they'll be the fifth conference champion this year. Who knows? Maybe it'll be a Mountain West representative. I have a feeling it'll be Mountain West. That is some of the college football updates for you. Now, with the remaining time, I don't have enough time to talk NASCAR with you. I know I promised we'd talk about the Cup race at Talladega. Let's save it for tomorrow. I do want to spend a bit of time on it. There is so much to cover with this, from the way they raced to the 4 wide, 3 wide, 2 wide, fuel saving versus pushing, the damaged vehicle policy, winning in, non-playoff drivers, all that jazz. We're going to talk about all of it. Don't worry. We're just going to have to wait until tomorrow, unfortunately. We're going to run out of time today. And I want to get to this day in sports history. We do it every single day, and with the remaining time, I would like to go over that. Starting with one that we talked about earlier today on the Home Ad Show with Patrick Reynolds. On this day in 1916, the most lopsided score in the history of U.S. college football took place. Georgia Tech defeated Cumberland. Oh, boy. The final score. You ready? 222-0. Whoa! Oh, baby! Now, I've never seen the box score for that game, but I sure would love to. They had to have scored like 150 in the first 2 quarters. There's no way you're scoring 40 in the fourth when you're up that much, right? Did they score 100 in the first quarter? Like, is it even possible to score 100 in the first quarter? I don't know. But that happened on this day, 1916. Let's get a little bit more modern with our this day in history. 2012, Drew Brees breaks Johnny Unitas' NFL record for consecutive games with a passing touchdown when he threw his 48th consecutive touchdown pass in a game. The Saints ended up winning that game, by the way. They beat the San Diego Chargers, not the LA Chargers, the San Diego Chargers. 31-24 was the final in that one, in case you were wondering. 1989, the Oakland, soon-to-be Las Vegas A's Ricky Henderson steals a record 8 bases in a playoff series. It was only a 5-game series against the Toronto Blue Jays. I don't think Shohei Ohtani's doing this. I don't think anybody's doing this ever again. It's not happening. Ricky Henderson will forever be the steals champion. Forever. That one's never getting broken. I don't care how big they make the bases. Thanks, everyone, for tuning into the program today. We ran out of time today. Tomorrow, we have a special interview with South Iredell head coach and a couple of players. I'm not going to spoil it. Tune in tomorrow for that. We'll also talk NASCAR. Have a good night, everyone. I'll talk to you tomorrow.